Here with tonight's third place finisher in the SBS race here up at Evans Mills, Drew Pascuzzi. Drew, talk us through your night and how it led to third place for you.
Yeah, we unloaded pretty okay. I put some older tires on and kind of went out and tried to figure out the track. I haven't driven up here since last year because Griffin was in the car for the opening race. Got some good notes, which was nice, but we just unloaded and I kind of made some changes and I was like, okay, it's better. And then I went to the second practice and kind of went the wrong way. And so before heat races, I said, all right, let's jack the stagger up. Let's lower the handlebar. Let's get this thing kind of going in the right direction. Very flat track, so you want to get a little more stagger to get yourself through the corner. And
I'll say, from what I've heard, it's a real big rhythm track too.
Very much so, very much so. So you got to get in a nice rhythm. You got to, hit your marks with going in and everything. And that I felt did well in the heat race. I was a little behind the 8-ball. My receiver actually dropped and then changed channels, so I had no radio communication. I didn't know there was a restart zone, so
Tim was mentioning that in his interview of just, I thought that was maybe a little bit of cat and mouse there for a moment.
Yeah, so basically what happened was when I started, it was cold tires, so I just kind of got a little squirrely and went through the infield, and it just kind of went from there. And they gave me my spot back, and then I tried to start, forgetting that they had a restart zone over.
I would say that's more towards like 4, almost, like coming out of 4.
So coming out of 4, and that would have been a great start. I think me and Tim could have definitely mixed it up going into 1. But I didn't Oswego start, right? I had a rolling start coming out of 3, and then I kind of got on it coming out of 4, and I thought I had a really good start. And then they flagged the race, and I'm like, I didn't see Tim, so I wonder if I jumped it. And then they put Dennis Richmond in front of me. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe I did do something. Obviously, still can't hear on radio communication. Second start was a little bit better. I was behind Dennis for a little while, and then I just had a better car and could be right on the hub or right on the curb there. Then I was driving by
Hard
him.
to break old habits, right?
Right, exactly. So I ended up getting behind Tim, and I was catching Tim, and I was a little bit better through the center than he was. And I ended up giving him a little bit of a nudge there at the end, just to see if I could push him up a little bit, maybe gain a little bit of speed coming off to get under him there. And it just didn't work out. Tim's a great race car driver, so it was no surprise that I couldn't get by him and steal that one. But I was happy to finish in second. A little bit of a debacle with the redraw.
Yeah, I would say, why did we switch away from frisbees? Like the good old trusted frisbee with a Sharpie
the old
on
frisbee
it.
with the flip it over and see it. Yeah,
and then throw it to the crowd. You make some kid happy.
So I got there's a supervisor at DPW. I got his daughter down there, and I said, all right, go ahead and pick my my little cube is what they had. So she pulls it out of the bag. And instead of reading the number, she counted the 6 dots that were on it. It was a little fidget toy with 6
It looked like it was like a dice almost.
Well,
that was
like a dice. So she counted it, and she goes 6, and I was like, all right, cool. I know what I can do from 6. Not a big deal. And so then somebody picked 6, and then somebody picked 9. We were a little confused, so I go back and I rummage through the bag or whatever, and I pull my dice out, and I turn it around, and it's the 1. And of course, I'm like, great. And I was happy about it, and I knew we had a decent car, enough to kind of stay where I needed to be with it. And so we ended up starting the feature. I felt like I was pretty good. I raced with Cam for a little while, and then I was just a little bit better. I could go into the corner a little harder and get to the brakes and stay on the bottom, and then I cleared him, and we led probably 10 laps, and then I feel my bumper start getting worked, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely somebody faster behind me. I'm gonna run my race, and they've got to get around me, basically. So basically what happened was Dalton gave me a couple shots, and I'm like, all right, you still got to drive around me. And finally he got enough of a line to get under me. I saw the nose, and I was like, okay, I still have the line. Then he got to the door coming down the backstretch, and I mean, you got a heads-up race at that point. And so just tried to race him on the outside for a little while. We weren't great on the outside. We were decent, but once he got by me, I just said, okay, I'm gonna fall on the line. And then
it seemed like inside was preferred around here.
Yeah, it was. And usually this is a true two-groove racetrack, so it's tough to really, it's really good racing, right? So you can kind of give or take when it comes to that. And so then we had a restart, and I tried to get down on the bottom, and I feel something, and I look, and a car is going through the infield, and I'm like, oh boy, I hope I didn't do that to somebody. And I look again, and it's my buddy DJ Schumann, and I go, uh-oh. So I ended up getting back to the outside and giving him the line, and him and I raced for a little while, and then a caution came out, and I was just a little bit ahead of him on that start. So I got to go back up to second. We've been having issues with restarts all year, so no surprise that I got on the restart and Dalton went by me and DJ got under me, and I said, well, I'm going to try to race him again on the outside. Let's see what can happen here. And raced him for a little while, and he just got by me, and those guys were in a different zip code. I mean, they pulled away. I knew how good our car was, but they were just a little bit better, and towards the end of the run, it started to free up a little bit. So tried to do the best with what I had for the end of the race, and we were still really good, but sometimes you just get outmatched, and guys bring better setups. So that's just how it goes.
Well, who would you like to thank that helped you out this year?
My entire crew, my entire family, they've stood by me through the whole thing and really make the car good. They make it better. They really just, we're constantly striving to be better, and the car has just been incredible all season. We were in the points right there at the end of the year, and just unfortunately got in a wreck that kind of ruined our points. So it is what it is. I walked out that night smiling because I had a great season, I had a great time, and we finished 4th in Classic. So, but those guys have just helped me so much with getting there and giving me a great car that really helped me throughout the year. And obviously the sponsors, Jake's Automotive, my Aunt Terry's done so much for me, and I appreciate that so much, because without her I would be racing. So Martin PC, Brian Haynes, great guy, sim rigs, all that. He does a phenomenal job and is a great guy to talk to on race day and help out with driving stuff and really helping out like a driver who, I've done this for a while, but there's always room for improvement. And I got to thank In-N-Out General Contracting, and I got to thank East Coast Seal Coat Stephen Hutchinson and his wife Ricky. They've done a lot for me too. So that's pretty much it.
Any other racing slotted for this year after this, or?
I might go down to Lime Rock Speedway for the Butch Coffee Classic. I'm not sure yet. Kind of depends on kind of what I got going on and when it falls or whatever. But
now, what would you be driving for that?
Micro Sprint. That's
okay.
where I came from. So
okay.
I like those cars. They're a lot of fun. I've talked to a few people about maybe getting behind the wheel. I have one that I co-own with Ronnie Strong. So I might do that, but really, I'm happy with the season I've had, so maybe I'll just pack it in and just go watch some racing. Super Dirt Week's coming up. I'm excited for that, so I'm a race fan too, so,
I know I'll probably get a little junk about it, but Oswego's pretty darn good for Dirt Week.
Oh yeah, I love Oswego. I think it was the right choice for them, and I'm happy to see it stay in New York State, so I'm happy to see it at Oswego, and
I know you and I could probably be said that we're a little biased since we're up at Oswego weekly, but yeah, I agree with you. Where else are you going to have it in the state that, like, without doing something crazy to really make it work?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Oswego's been chipping away at it little by little to make it better, but it's been improving.
They've done a great job with the surface. I know those guys work really hard on the surface, and they've done an excellent job. Sometimes you just get enough rain that it kind of wreaks havoc on a track. But hats off to those guys for what they do, keeping the track the way it is, and they do a great surface, and those guys put on a great show. So I don't know of I've been up to the mile. I love the mile race, but I'm really partial to Oswego, even racing there, but I'm partial to that track. So
any interest in ever running Dirt Week?
My dad and I have talked about threw around the idea of buying a pro stock, another 602 class. So
there you go.
We've got a motor for it, so we flirt with that idea all the time. My big bucket list things for racing, I'd love to do that in a pro stock. I like those cars a lot. I think they're really cool. I'd like to do an indoor TQ race or even indoor micro race with down in Atlantic City. I've always loved that venue. That's a great weekend to go down to. And then Tulsa Shootout would be my last thing on my bucket list.
I feel like that Tulsa, Eldora, or Knoxville, that's all like racers' bucket lists?
Yeah, it's always something I've wanted to get to. There is, 1,300 entries, I think is what they had last year for that race. And I'd love to get there, and, but there is so much talent there and what they do, and I'd love to go down there and try it, but, I don't know if I can hold a candle to some of those guys that do it all the time and are really, really competitive, so.
All right, well, we got a laundry list of stuff that you'd like to do. Anybody, car owners or anything wanting to work something out, reach out. Drew might be able to be your guy.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, well, good luck, man, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you very much.